Last night, Acura brought back the Integra after decades of its absence here in the United States. Yes, the RSX was very much an Integra, and you can make the argument that the ILX was just, it could have passed as an Integra as well. But we have a true Integra at the doorstep, named the Integra, but there are quite a few things that we still don't know about this sporty entry-level Acura. All right, so what do we know? Well, we know what it looks like. This prototype is going to be very similar to the production version of the car. It's a 2023 model, which that was my guess, but it is confirmed now that the Integra will be a 2023 model. It'll be the first factory turbocharged Integra with a 1.5 liter with the VTEC. It will have a 6-speed manual, which we already knew that coming in. It will have a limited slip differential as well, at least an optional one. And we know it's going to start around $30,000 and it will come next year, sometime in 2022. We also know that Indy Yellow Pearl paint is going to be showcased on the new Integra like it is on the NSX. We know it will have 19-inch wheels, and this prototype also had Brembo brakes up front, which I don't think is going to be standard, and it will probably be reserved for the Type S model. It will also be built in Marysville Auto Plant. I'm glad to see it being built alongside other Acuras instead of being built in Indiana, I believe it is, with the Honda Civic hatchback. And all Acura had to say after that is more details on the 23 Integra will be released closer to its market introduction in the first half of next year. So that is going to be a good segue into the things we don't know. All we know for availability is first half of next year. So that could be all the way up until May until we see the new vehicle out in the market. Pricing, well, they said around $30,000. Does that mean $32,000? Does that mean $28,000? It's a huge difference. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say they'll try to bring it in around $29,900 or something like that, just a hair under $30,000. And that's probably before destination. So when you add destination, we're talking $31,000, $32,000 for the base model. Speaking of the base model, I want to talk about packaging. They didn't mention anything about packaging. What we saw on the prototype is probably a mix between like an A spec, and since it had the Brembos, a little bit of Type S going on with the 19-inch wheels. So it's really hard to say, but I think they'll have a base model, they'll have an A-spec model, and then they'll have that A-spec plus advanced or something like that. We see that new package on the new RDX, the 2022 RDX refresh, where they combine the top of the line features package, which is advanced package, and they tie that in with the A-spec. The thing is with the Integra, since it's a lower priced vehicle, I don't think they're going to have as many tiers with the packaging. I think it's going to be base, A-spec, or an A-spec plus advanced, or just like A-spec plus or something like that. I don't think they need to have a luxury tier of the Integra. It just doesn't make sense to its character. It's a performance entry-level Acura, and it needs to not be too complex with how they offer the packages and the pricing and the features, things like that. I think 3 different packages would be perfect, but I'm still missing out a big one, and that is the Type S. No mention of Type S, but we know it will come. The thing is, with the Type S, we just don't know what kind of powertrain they're going to put in there. Logic would dictate that they're just going to stick the 2-liter turbocharged engine. Let's go to the spreadsheet real quick. And it would be 272 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. That's the exact same tune of the engine that they have in the TLX or the RDX. It's still probably going to be a front-wheel drive. As much as I would like to see super handling all-wheel drive on the new Integra, I just don't want to get my hopes up for it. I think it's pretty unlikely at this point, especially how much it's based off the Civic. So this is a long shot. This is just my pipe dream of what I would like to see in a Type S with super handling all-wheel drive. But who knows what that would do to the price. And more than likely, a Type S would start around $39,000. And we also have no idea when the Type S would be available. If the car will be available late first half, Type S might not be available for another year after that. So that's kind of a tough one to take, but I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully Acura can launch the Type S alongside of the Integra. Now, we don't know the engine output for this 1.5 liter turbo. Again, logic would say it's going to be exactly the same as the Civic Si with 200 horsepower. I don't think it'll be the 205 horsepower of the outgoing Civic Si because I think they had to reduce the horsepower due to emissions. So I think that the Integra will likely have the 200 horsepower 1.5 liter turbo. But a bigger question than the output of the inline 4-cylinder is going to be, what kind of transmission is the automatic going to be? We know there's a 6-speed manual. What is the automatic going to be? And if you look at the Civics, well, they have a CVT. It's not a terrible CVT, but a CVT should never have a place on an Integra. It's just not acceptable in my opinion. So are they going to outfit it with a CVT? Or since it's being produced alongside the TLX, are they going to give it the 10-speed automatic that's built in-house from Honda and Acura? I really do hope it's the 10-speed. I don't think the 8-speed dual clutch is going to stick around, but I wouldn't be upset if it did. I just hope that there's no CVT on the new Integra. That would be bringing shame to the Integra name, and I know you guys would probably agree. Either give us an 8-speed DCT or the 10-speed auto, no CVT transmission on the Integra. It's blasphemy, essentially. And that sums up about all the things we still don't know about the Integra. We know that there's not going to be a 2 or 3 door coupe or a liftback 3-door. That's just not going to happen today's day and age, especially after they canceled the Civic Coupe. I just think the chances of it ever happening are slim to none. And if you guys were in my live stream last night, thank you so much for coming out. You guys pretty much know how I feel about the car. I got my expectations as low as possible, as I tend to with any Japanese car reveal, because they're all very conservative car companies, and they're not going to bring out a bespoke transmission or a bespoke internal combustion engine just for this new Integra. They're going to repackage the existing Civic hatchback and the Si, which is based off the sedan, repackage that into an Acura styled vehicle. One of the benefits that this Integra will have over something like the Civic Si, one, it's a hatchback, so it has that going for it. And two, it's going to have better interiors. Okay, the new SI's interior looks really cheap, a lot of cloth, and it's all accented in red. So that's going to reduce the amount of colors, your paint colors that you get on the outside that will mix and match well with that red trimmed interior on the Civic Si. So the Integra is going to offer a lot better interior options, red, black, maybe they give us that white orchid as well interior. And we'll also have leather or synthetic leather in the new Integra, which is a huge improvement over the cloth in the Civic Si. I guess one other thing that we don't know is going to be infotainment. Are they going to use a True Touch interface? I would say more than likely. And unfortunately, I don't think that we'll see a touchscreen, even though the Civics have a touchscreen. It would be nice if we got both of them, the True Touch interface plus the touchscreen, but knowing Acura and the recent products, it's just going to be True Touch interface and no touchscreen. So summing it up, there's a lot we don't know about the new Integra. I like how it looks overall. It's not perfect. The front needs to be reworked a little bit. It doesn't need to have the fog lights, in my opinion, because we know when the Type S comes out, it's not going to have fog lights more than likely. So anyways, guys, I'm happy that the Integra is back. Looks good for the most part. It's going to have a 6-speed manual, which by itself is a victory on its own. So I'm very, very, very happy that the Integra is back. And if Acura wants to hit a home run with a Type S, give us all-wheel drive, give us 6-speed manual with the 2-liter 4-cylinder that we see in the Civic Type R with over 300 horse, that'd be pretty sick. But at what point do you just get the Civic Type R, and why have two competing products? So it will be interesting to see how much the Type S differentiates itself from the new Civic Type R. We're probably a year or two away from both of those vehicles being out. So we still have some time, but I'd love to see super handling all-wheel drive come to the Integra. I know it'll make it heavier, but I think that's one of Acura's strongest selling points. Is super handling all-wheel drive. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end it there. I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed today's what we still don't know about the Integra video, smash the like button, subscribe for more Acura news, updates, as well as reviews. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.